9 months ago, our family bought 140 acres off the grid in Australia. One of the reasons we fell in love with this place was the old chimneys that still stand here as a gentle reminder of days gone by. So much has changed in the world since these chimneys were built, but more and more people are deciding to go back to a more simple and sustainable life. Whether it's due to the pandemic, having food and supply shortages, or just a longing to return to Mother Nature, there's so much nourishment for the soul out here. Autumn is almost over and winter is coming. We've been uncovering some weird and wonderful things out here around the chimneys. Some more reminders of the old days. So we've discovered that we have some paddy melon on the property as well. Its other names are gooseberry cucumber, gooseberry melon, prickly pear melon, all that sort of thing, but it's actually toxic to humans and animals, and it's a noxious weed that's invasive in Australia, so it's highly damaging, and we need to get rid of it. The fruits on this look like tiny spiky watermelons. Our native oregano that we got from the indigenous nursery is doing really well. It's starting to develop some pink flowers. The native curry is also doing really well. And in other exciting news, we've come up with a name for our off-grid property. I've inserted some clues by the way of using words throughout this video. Our native mint plant is also flourishing. The ginger plants seem to be dying back quite a bit, so we decided to just harvest the ginger today. Ginger is a useful understory plant in a permaculture system. It does prefer warm weather and doesn't like frost, so I'm not sure whether our ginger is going to last in this weather. About 8 months after planting, the leaves of the ginger plant start to go yellow and die off. That's when you know it's time to harvest the ginger. This plant, I think, was given to us by Paul's mum. We probably need to get a greenhouse for our plants and veggies as soon as possible as well. I'll be using this ginger in my cooking for stir fries and things like that. If you plant your ginger in spring, it should be ready to harvest by winter. You need to allow the plant to become dry before you harvest it. And the longer that you wait to harvest your ginger, the stronger it'll taste as well. You can plant an entire ginger root for one plant or cut it up to plant multiple. Just cut your ginger into fragments and allow it to sit out for a day to become dry and to form a callus. Make sure that each piece you plant has an eye, which are the nodes at the ends of the plant, so that it'll sprout properly. Ginger loves compost mulch mixed in with the potting soil and well-draining soil to prevent rot. It likes partial shade and about 2 to 5 hours of sun each day. If you're in a warm climate, you'll be able to grow your ginger year-round. If you live in a colder climate, you can bring your ginger plant indoors during winter. And our rosemary is doing really well. I use the rosemary in all our roast veggies and things like that we do on the barbecue. Our African basil is doing amazing as well. And we haven't quite figured out what this one is. It could be a zucchini or a pumpkin or something like that. It's just started to develop flowers, so hopefully we'll find out soon. So Australia has been experiencing a La Nina weather event, and we've been getting such heavy rainfalls that it's been flooding everywhere basically. So what that means is that our creek is filled up again, which is great for this area. This will be a great swimming spot in summer as long as we get enough rain. When we were looking around for properties, one of Paul's wish lists was a property that had a creek. So we were so excited when we found this place. Although we have seen the creek dry up within a matter of 3 weeks when there's been no rain. So we're enjoying it while we can. Our fig is loving it up on this rocky outcrop. The first one we put here died, but I think that the tree protector is really making a difference. And the ground is so soggy at the moment, we're having to wear our gumboots everywhere. Some of our wattle have survived. We're getting some very strange fungus type plants growing everywhere as well. And these red ones are called Phallus rubicundus. You can see why. And this yellow one is another type of stinkhorn that have like this foul smelling stinky spore. And sometimes we'll find wild animals drinking out of our water trough, like this one here. That's this wild beast that we found. So we've definitely got some water in the well. We don't know how much, but we need to get the motor fixed. Our strawberry gum is coming along really well as well. I am a bit worried about how all these plants are going to survive through our winter.
And I saw a turtle sitting on the sandbank down there the other day.
Did you? So a few weeks ago we planted some wattle and some tea tree and some bottle brush all around the property, and most of them had tree guards protecting them, but a few we planted around down near the bridge and the creek pond, and these seem to be doing pretty well as well, which is great to see, even though they didn't have their protectors. We also planted 40 lamandra around the creek pond just to help with the erosion around the edges. They are coming along nicely and they look nice and fresh and green. This is possibly wild pig poo that we've found. So the wild pigs have been coming in and digging up the ground all the time. So Paul's mum gave us some lights, solar lights here for Coco's grave, and they're pretty bright during the night when you don't have electricity out here, and that's the only light. They're actually, it serves like almost like a lighthouse to sort of shine up the area where the bridge goes across the creek, which is pretty amazing. are in a bushfire prone area, so we just need to be on the safe side with being close to the shed. And this is the view from our little misty mountain. So we're pretty excited to be getting our rainwater tank delivered in the next 2 or 3 weeks. It's going to be huge, and we're hoping that the rain's not going to stop until we get our tank filled up, which would be fantastic. So were you able to pick up all the clues and work out the name of our off-grid property? So for those who haven't, it's Chimney Creek Farm. That's what we came up with a name for our property, and we love it. And thanks to everyone for their name suggestions. Thanks for watching.